Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. If you're navigating the Arkansas real estate market right now, whether you're a first-time homebuyer, maybe a seasoned investor, or honestly just a curious neighbor, understanding Arkansas property taxes is way easier than you might think. We're going to completely demystify the entire process right here, right now. So, did you know that really understanding your property taxes could actually save you thousands of dollars? Yeah, it's totally true. Knowing exactly how to access, read, and leverage this public data is absolutely crucial. It's going to help you spot billing errors, avoid some really hefty penalties, and you might even uncover hidden investment opportunities. Today, we're going to transform you into a full-blown Arkansas property tax expert. Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a highly structured 5-part journey today. We're covering Arkansas property tax basics, essential tax lookup tools, searching records by address, interpreting tax information, and finally, tips and common mistakes. Section 1, Arkansas property tax basics. Understanding the ad valorem system. Before we jump online to actually search for records, we need to understand how the 75 different Arkansas counties assess and tax your property in the first place. All right, so Arkansas operates on what's called an ad valorem tax system. Literally, that just means property is taxed according to its value. But here's the really important key. It's a decentralized model. You see, while a state agency called the AACD provides oversight to ensure fairness across the board, all the actual heavy lifting, the appraising, the billing, the collecting, well, that's done locally by constitutional officers in each of the state's 75 counties. They're the ones who determine the value of your property, so you only pay your fair share for local schools, roads, and emergency services. And here is a massive detail that trips up so many new homeowners. Arkansas property taxes are paid in arrears. What this means is the timeline actually spans 2 distinct years. In year 1, the county assessor establishes your property's value and the local quorum court sets the tax rates. But you don't actually get a bill for that until year 2. So just to put that into perspective, the taxes you're paying in 2024 are entirely based on your property status back in 2023. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the valuation formula itself. In Arkansas, you're not actually taxed on the full market value of your home. No way. By state law, the assessed value, which is the exact number used to calculate your bill, is strictly capped at just 20% of the county's appraised fair market value. So, for example, if your home is appraised at $100,000, your taxes are only calculated based on a $20,000 assessed value. Pretty great, right? Moving on to Section 2. Essential tax lookup tools. These are your digital gateways to public records. Look, the days of blowing dust off giant ledger books in a courthouse basement are long gone. Let's check out the digital tools we use today. So, because Arkansas leaves the administration up to the individual counties, those different counties contract with different software vendors. The 2 massive heavyweights you're going to use are AR County Data and Act Data Scout. Honestly, between just these 2 portals, you can find the property records for pretty much the entire state. Now, if you just need to pay a bill, the state-hosted County Pay portal is your absolute go-to. And if a property's taxes have gone unpaid for a few years, that data shifts over to the Commissioner of State Lands database. Now, you might be wondering, wait, do I have to pay for this? The answer is generally no. Local county assessors sponsor free public access for basic searches. You can look up an address, view a property card, check tax statuses, all entirely for free. Now, sure, if you're a real estate agent or some power investor who needs to search across all 75 counties at once, pull detailed sales reports, or use fancy GIS mapping overlays, well, platforms like Our County Data offer premium subscriptions for a very reasonable $19.99 a month. But for everyday citizens, that free tier is more than enough. Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. Searching records by address, step-by-step queries. Now that we know where to look, we're going to walk through the exact steps to pull up a property record. Okay, let's say your target property is in a county hosted by AR County Data. It's super straightforward. First, navigate to their homepage and just select your specific county from their interactive map. Next, you're going to click the button labeled Search Real Estate Records. You'll see a search field for the address pop up. Just type in the street number and name, hit Submit, and click on the matching result. Boom! You're looking right at the official property record card. Now, if your property happens to be in a county that uses Act Data Scout, the process is just as simple, but the flow is slightly different. On their homepage, you'll select Real Property first. Then you define your jurisdiction by picking Arkansas and your specific county from a list. Type your street address into the property address field, run the search, and just click View next to your target result. Easy. Now, while an address search is definitely the most common method, it is not the only one. Say you want to see everything a specific person or corporation owns in a given county. You can just search by owner name. But listen, if you want absolute bulletproof precision, like the kind title companies and surveyors use, you should search using the unique parcel number. That completely eliminates the headache of similar sounding street names or little typos in the address field. All right, Section 4, interpreting tax information, decoding the property record card. Finding the record is fantastic, but honestly, it's only half the battle. Now we actually need to decode the financial data on the screen. So the crucial point here is understanding the difference between these two specific terms on your property card. You're going to see an appraised value. This is basically the county's estimate of what your home would sell for on the open market today. Do not panic if this number looks high, because the number you actually care about for your wallet is the assessed value, which, as we discussed earlier, is strictly capped at just 20% of that appraised value. Okay, so once you have your 20% assessed value, how do you actually calculate the final tax bill? Well, by applying the millage rate. This is a local tax rate determined by voters in your specific district to fund things like the local library or the school system. Mathematically, 1 mil equals exactly $1 of tax for every $1,000 of your assessed value. So you just multiply your assessed value by your local millage rate, and there you go. That equals your final tax bill. Now, here's another massive point of confusion on these portals: the difference between real estate and personal property. Real estate records only cover the land and permanent structures, right? Those stay with the property no matter who owns it. But in Arkansas, you are also required to assess your personal property every single year between January 1st and May 31st. We're talking cars, boats, trailers. This is tied to you individually, and I'm warning you, failing to assess your personal property will actually block you from renewing your vehicle tags at the DMV, so don't forget that. Section 5, Tips and Common Mistakes. Protecting your financial health. We've covered the mechanics of it all, but let's shift gears to strategy and look at how you can actually use this data to your advantage. First off, you've got to avoid these classic search mistakes. If an address isn't showing up, try just using a partial street name. Don't let a minor typo stop you. Always double-check you're in the right county, because a lot of cities share names across state lines. When you do find a record, make sure to check the last updated timestamp so you know how fresh the data is. And never, ever forget the golden rule. Taxes are paid a year in arrears. If you see unpaid taxes on a property you're looking to buy, beware. If taxes are delinquent for 2 years, that property could eventually be sent to the State Land Commissioner for public auction. Okay, now for some truly fantastic news regarding tax relief. If you own a home and you use it as your primary residence, Arkansas offers a homestead property tax credit that directly reduces your overall bill. And get this, a recent piece of legislation, the AR-HR 1006 bill, was introduced to increase this exact credit. For assessment years beginning on or after January 1st, 2026, this credit is slated to jump from $600 all the way up to a maximum of $675. That is real money back in your pocket. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why you need to stay engaged with these records. You have to actively ensure your homestead credit is applied to your property card. You need to assess your personal property by May 31st every year to dodge that mandatory 10% penalty. And honestly, most importantly, if you look up your record and genuinely believe the county has overappraised your home, well, you have the right to gather your evidence and file a formal appeal with your local county equalization board to get those taxes lowered. Just a quick disclaimer here. While we absolutely love bringing you this structured data, this explainer is strictly for educational purposes. Property laws are very specific and highly localized. You should always consult your local county assessor's office, maybe a title company, or a certified tax professional for personalized legal or financial advice about your specific property. The power of digital transparency is literally right at your fingertips. Now that you know exactly how the system works, the math behind it, and exactly where to look, it is time to take action. So what hidden opportunities or savings will you uncover in your own county's property records today? Seriously, go look up your address right now and see for yourself. If you found this explainer helpful and empowering, please hit that like button, share this with a fellow Arkansas homeowner, and subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks so much for learning with us today.